What's up, y'all? Welcome back to another video. Fixing to load up the van because y'all on Instagram decided let's make them stay in the van. But it also worked out stealth camp in the van because we get to test out our new 0 degree sleeve bag from Coleman. It's only $50. It's super bulky, that's the downside. That an upcoming video is gonna be to see just how it fit in our Pelican 1606 bag. And that was one of the reasons why we got that bigger Pelican bag. Don't worry about the trash that's right here. We're gonna be throwing that away. That's just a lot of extra boxes that we had in the garage that just seem to pile and pile and pile up, but we're finally gonna be throwing them away. We have these two lines of ETrack set on the sides of the van that the wheel at the very front of the ETrack, maybe just a little bit farther forward, is gonna sit where rear doors close with just inches to spare. That this was the plan for Canada. That didn't end up happening. We were really looking forward to doing Renegade Riot this year, but unfortunately COVID had other plans. So sorry dude, so that's when we decided to go to Colorado. We already had the dates off, said we're still gonna travel. So the plan was to have the motorcycle here in the back. We were gonna sleep in the front portion, so that way if for some reason we're in a sketchy situation, we could have just gotten to the front seat, turned the van on and gotten out of there. And like I said, this is real interesting how it's gonna work out because I don't really have that much faith in the ETrack being supported. So we did two at the ends, at the bottom, at the top, and then we skipped two every other. And I don't recall the size of the screws, but I think it was 3/4 of an inch. That way it was able to go down beneath the plywood. Again, I was a little hesitant on screwing that many screws. Initially I was gonna do a couple. I think it ended up being like 8 or 10. And I was just like, that's a lot of holes in the van floor, like the actual metal just straight down. And I also didn't want to hit the gas tank. So we're gonna go ahead and finish setting up, load the bike in, and strap it down and just go from there. Alright, one of the things I do want to do is, once I regularly start putting the bike in here, is set up a small little piece of pad that the kickstand can rest on, because the floor's already kind of gotten a little bit scuffed up, and that way it doesn't keep on digging into the vinyl. Oh shit, get the fuck out of me, dude, look at that. We're already messing up here. I'm already going for a neutral right now. Oh, what the? Why'd that move even farther forward? Yeehaw. Yippee-ki-yay. Jesus, dude. No idea why it's moving forward on its own. It shouldn't. That's strange. And we still have all that room back there now too. One of the things that we never really figured out was how we're gonna get these ramps. That we did have an idea of putting hooks up here so that they could just sit kind of like this, but more straight along the wall. Right now I was trying to troubleshoot kind of angled like that and then run something across, because if I run them, they're too short to mount to some of those places on top, those holes. And it's just an awkward size like that on top of the wheel well. Eventually I do want to do a wheel well box, and maybe that can sit on it a whole lot better, and then make some mounting points here along the wall, and maybe build a framing and then hook them into that. So we're gonna secure it like that and see if it makes the trip down to San Antonio. It should. That was the first that we were just trying to figure out. We totally forgot about then if they were just standing straight up. Ideally at this point it'd be cool to have a roof rack, but then those are also heavy in order to take them down from the roof rack. But that would be something cool. That again, with this van, if we had the high roof, what we could have done is incorporated a ramp that came out from underneath the subfloor. If you want to get high tech, or kind of, that's a little also expensive, but that would be super cool because then everything is just in-house. You need to remove or store any ramps, it's just always in your subfloor. So that would be really cool. So we're probably gonna be sleeping, try to just sleep this way. Oh, that's actually not that bad. plenty of room. Dog. But I will probably put the kickstand down whenever we park because I just don't trust this. Even though we're gonna be flat, I feel like in the middle of the night something's gonna give, and then I'm just gonna That's cozy. And then tomorrow when we get into town to San Antonio, what I'm gonna be doing is I'm gonna go back to Home Depot, get another shower rod, and that way I can hang it to hide the people from looking in from the front, because we have one in the back, and also it's gonna help block out light. And that will be our sleeping area. We have the fan right above where we do sleep, so right before bed we can turn that on or open the vent so any fumes from the gas tank will go out that way. So now we just got to finish packing up. We're going to be putting up the ramps, and the next time you see us, we'll be on our way to San Antonio. Oh, that is so good. Every once in a while, it's hit or miss, where it's probably too sweet, and usually I expect it with a ton of cream, but that one, whoo, they did a good job down here in old San Marcos. Copy that GPS. Ooh, that is moving a bit. We're gonna have to pull over here real quick if this dude doesn't come and kill us. I always have all these cables that are right there. Let there be light. Yo, what's up? We're here. We stopped off so that way we could set up our partition to separate our front end with our cabin. And this was actually pretty expensive. I actually thought it was gonna be cheaper to go to Joann's Fabric instead of going to Home Depot to get a shower curtain and those curtains, because I think it was $20 for two. But this is thick. It looked black in the store, but now it's looking kind of brown. kind of blue. And so what I'm gonna do is kind of overlap with these magnets, and that's gonna hold them up. We might actually have a lot extra. And then we'll set the other one up close to it. It's not really giving me a lot of faith. Okay, so there's that. So we just scooped up our dinner. So that's gonna be cantaloupe, some ham, and then a Topo Chico. And then what we're gonna do is go to Walmart that is just beyond the way right there. And that's where we're gonna make our transition. We're gonna go inside, get some of those wet wipes, and maybe just a quick little, some sort of like a cracker snack to go with our dinner. And then we're gonna come back inside the van and transition to the back. And we still have to set up all that, and then that's where we'll have dinner. And then just stay there until the morning comes. That we're doing this because there's a ride that's going on tomorrow. It's going to be well past when the video drops, but I always forget that I'm 2 hours away whenever I plan these rides here in San Antonio, because they're the old stomping grounds. I was like, yeah, and then I'm like, oh fudge, I forgot, I'm so far away. And with the weather being as it's been, I didn't want to ride the bike down here for 2 hours in like 40 plus temps and then continue to ride for additional 3 to 4 hours. And so I was like, I'm gonna be nippy, dude. I'm just gonna be like miserable. So I decided to load up the van and figured, let's go ahead and break it in and try out what we were gonna plan for Renegade Riot. And that's kind of where this stemmed. And then also I put it up to a vote to Instagram where I said, hey y'all, should we get a dope hotel and get some photos and all this other nonsense. That sounded weird. Or should we stealth camp in the van? And at first it looked promising because I wanted to stay in the hotel. It was real nice with my points. It would have been super cheap for this really dope hotel. But then within like 5 minutes, it went from like 4 votes for the hotel to like 39 for camping in the van. I was like, ah, well, all right. Looks like we're gonna be camping in the van, bud. So that's what we're doing tonight. I just have to find the right spot. And the only thing that's also kind of not the greatest about this Walmart is that unfortunately this one's not 24 hours. So that's gonna be real interesting in and of itself, because most often, because in the event that in the middle of the night I have to go use the restroom, we're not gonna be able to. That pretty much what we're gonna have to do, I'm trying to figure out where I wanna park, that we're gonna have to go, we're gonna have to get in the van and then go to one of these other places that are around here and go use the restroom if we need to. I do need to get like a porta potty type thing where I think my buddy James had mentioned that he's got something where he uses I think some sort of fertilizer that keeps the smell out, the odor out, and that way whenever you're done you can just toss away the bag. But we have yet to do that because we're not moto camping quite as often. Got our goodies, got some wipes, and then we got macadamia cookies because they were $1. And then now we're just gonna work our way back to the van and we're not gonna leave. Just a little bit of light. How much light does this give off? So this can actually give off a good amount of light if we wanted to, but currently we are in the van and we're trying to get set up with, we have our lunch here, or I guess our dinner, that we will be eating here momentarily. I feel like it's a ghost story. And so before we go to sleep, what I'm gonna do is open up that vent so that way any gases that are in the tank, if they decide to leak out, since we are indoors, it'll help kind of take it out. Look at that, boom, we are good to go. So now we're inside the van, deep in the hot, and we're gonna have our dinner, where we have ham, Topo Chico, and some cantaloupe. I keep on losing my phone, dude. And then after that, we're gonna set up where we're gonna be sleeping. That we already lost a magnet when we were getting back here. It just fell and I don't know where it went. I don't want to bring too much attention to myself. Just out the gate, dude, like stealth camping is so much different than when we were at the track, because I feel, oh, we just broke the zipper. We're eating all this ham now. I legit feel vulnerable. It's kind of interesting. You know what? We can't have that. I'm afraid it's gonna move and fall. I'm also really curious as to how much light is being let out, if people can see it. Oh, I don't know what that was. That was something though. That was a lamp. That's not really what I wanted. It's not that comfortable. This almost feels like I'm in a bomb shelter. Like there's no electricity left. And I'm eating freaking ham. I'm really looking forward to this part though. Cookies. It's definitely interesting though, your first time, because I'm like hyper aware, where I hear all kinds of stuff going on. Earlier someone walked by And they were talking, and I could have sworn they were right outside the door, but they were probably a couple spots down. And then right before we go to bed, what we're gonna do is open up that top vent. We're not gonna have the fan going because it's gonna be cold enough already. But that way, any gas fumes that are left that want to come out, they have an avenue to get out instead of just building up inside the van. I hear someone. We've been having an issue with like a back pain. I wouldn't say pain exactly, but it's like my back just feels tense, like right along my scapula, like my left and right shoulder blades, like right on the inner part. It just feels tight, and then along my lower back, that it's almost been like we've been having this sensation that we can't get a satisfying breath. And I went to a local doctor, 2 of them actually, because one was out of my network. I was like, ugh, and I wanted to follow up because this last week has been bad. I think it's allergies, but it's a little concerning because there's been a couple other kind of like tension things that have been going on, and I just want to make sure it's nothing else. But like right now, oh man, and it's happened before intermittently. It's just infrequent, but that my left shoulder blade on the inside close to my spine gets this real burning sensation, like it's like someone's putting a lighter to it and just holding it there, where it just stays. It doesn't progress any further. It's kind of like where it just outlines the shoulder blade of what I would think it would be, and it just goes away. But for a while it was being like every day for like a week, and then it went away for a while, and then now that would just hit me. Okay, I'm actually getting pretty tired, but I know that once it gets closer to 11, I'll probably be wide awake, just waiting for someone to knock on the door. So right now, it's 8:40. So we bumped up front so we could get our allergy medicine, that we could take it tonight and then take it tomorrow. But dude, it's such a wild experience, just, and if we've only been here for like maybe an hour. That being back there, it's totally different. Like all I see is the van walls, this partition, and I forgot I was even at Walmart. It just feels so wild that we ended up changing. We put on an extra set of long johns. What we have is a 4.0 base layer from Under Armour, and then we put a t-shirt, a flannel, and then we have this hoodie, and then we have this I can't remember the brand, but this is actually a Christmas present for my parents from so many years ago. It's got this fuzzy on the inside that it just feels so warm, because it's cold. Right now it's 46 degrees. And in the back, it feels like 40. And I was changing. I was like, dude, it's already cold. I was eating dinner and I was like, dude, I'm starting to get cold. So I ended up changing and I got real cold. That my feet are a little bit nippy, but I have wool socks on that I just put on. But yeah, now my upper core is, but now my upper body is so warm. It feels so good. But it's just crazy, the difference in temperatures from the front to the back. It's so much colder back there. And then now we've even opened up the vent so that we let any gas fumes that might be coming from the gas tank of the motorcycle can exit out through the top of the van instead of just building up in here and then us breathing in those noxious odors. So we're gonna finish snacking because it was just, I couldn't really enjoy my meal. But it's such an experience. You have to try it. That I for sure thought that the parking lot would have been dead. Just from back there, it sounds without being able to see the parking lot. It's just a trip, dude, because there's still like 40 cars all around. There's no one near me, but I keep on hearing the cart return because it's back there a little bit, but it sounds like it's right next to me. And anytime I hear someone near me, I just real quiet, because we're posting stuff on Instagram and kind of Snapchatting a couple people. It's so weird, dude. And I'm really curious if they're gonna knock on the van in the middle of the night, because like as we stated, this place closes at 11. So that's gonna be another experience of itself. Hopefully not, because I'm probably gonna freak out, but we'll figure it out. Just got done eating, and I had white chocolate or white macadamia nut, and I'm using it as a diffuser, and it actually adds a little bit more light. It's hard to see, but it's a softer light. So we're laying down now. There's the bike, there's our lamp with the cookie bag over it. There's the vent, and we're able to fully extend our feet. And this little hole right here helps to where we can stick our head in there, and we have the camping pillow underneath it. We have our Coleman 0-degree rated sleeping bag that we're gonna test out tonight. I'm not sure if I'm gonna get any sleep though. I guess we can try, because it's about 9:10, so we can probably get like 2.5 hours of sleep, 3, because they might knock. I still don't know. I'm expecting for them to knock, just because it's my first time stealth camping, but they may not even notice. A big ass white van. So it's like 1:30, and we got woken up. I don't know if you can hear it. You can hear like blowers, but they also had a vehicle rolling around that was just brrr, and I was like, oh, what's that? Check the time, and then I checked the temperature, and I could definitely feel the difference. Right now we have our sleeping bag kind of wrapped around us. It's comfortable, pretty much just my face, the part that's exposed. I can feel the cold, and I can feel it like on my mustache. But for the most part, we're comfortable. If it drops any lower, we'll probably just add an extra layer just to stay warm. Y'all. It is 5:44, and it's freezing, dude. It's like 37 degrees, 35, and we had to jump up front and turn the van on. We're trying to get some heat going, because even though that sleeping bag is rated to be at 0 degrees, it is freezing, dude. And we have a couple layers on, so we're gonna try to get the van going, get some heat. But we made it through the night for the most part. Yeah, we woke up about 2 times. Once at 1:30, whenever that cleaning truck was rolling around, and they had a guy in a blower. And then around 4:30, just because it started getting colder. So we're getting a little chilly now, so we're gonna run to the back and jump in the sleeping bag, and let the van chill for a little while. See if we can get some heat going. So it's about 5:45, and we woke up because it is absolutely freezing. Even though that sleeping bag's rated for 0 degrees, it's about 30 and change, like high 30s, and we were starting to feel it. You can hear my voice kind of shivering. Now that we have the van on, we're gonna put on the heater. We're gonna let it sit for about 30 minutes, cycle some of the heat to the back, jump in the sleeping bag, and just get a little more hours of sleep before it's time to go ride. What's up? Jesus. So it got cold last night. That we're actually at a second location. We moved around 5:45, 6 a.m. from Walmart, because
because it got cold. I had to get up and turn the fan on because it was just way too cold. That even though this sleeping bag was rated for 0 degrees, I was feeling it. And I think one of those things is also with us being on the ground, on the floor, that it was transferring to the sleeping bag, transferring to us, so we were a lot colder than we probably would have been had we actually used the sleeping pad. But it was just extremely uncomfortable. And again, in hindsight, it would have been cool if we added a little bit more insulation, but since we have the medium roof, we would have lost so much height if we went with like a 2x2 and then we put the insulation on the floor. But I think we will be adding insulation on the sides, and then maybe just and that should help. And we may just add some in the roof because it was noticeably cold. I didn't know my body was tense until like 20 minutes in trying to go to sleep, that I could feel it just relaxing, that it felt like I was sitting up, and then after I was starting to go to sleep, it was almost as if my body just kind of relaxed, and it felt like I just sunk into the floor, into the sleeping bag, kind of like my body was like, oh, okay, we can go to sleep, this is a safe space. It was so trippy, dude. And then my drink is still freaking cold. It dropped to about 37 last night. But aside from that, we woke up twice. Oh, there's 2 magnets there that I never used. That's where some went. I slept really well. Really well. I'm rested. For a little while I didn't feel that rested, but we came over here to HEB because the meetup spot that we're gonna be riding to is literally right down across the street. So that we can unload here, ride the bike, and then bring it back later when we get back in the afternoon. And it's safe because HEB. Oh. But dude, it's still cold. And then unload the bike, do all that. Well, we're gonna go inside to the store, use the restroom, and then come back out and then kind of start getting ready. We're pretty much dressed already, but then that way we can just come out and unload the bike and have all that ready to go. Man, it was wild, but we did it. First night stealth camping. It was interesting. And then now we have that open because we had the heater on, just trying to blow it back here, but then once we parked again, it wasn't getting hot. It was just blowing not cold but cool air out. I said, man, there's no point in that. I zipped the sleeping bag all the way up. I had it on my chin. I had my beanie kind of like covering my eyes all the way to my nose, and then the hood of my hoodie on, because it got cold, dude. And when I say it got cold, I was freezing for a bit. And then even though it's 0 degrees, and then I just made sure that I had that seal, and I wasn't breathing into the sleeping bag, because then that would build condensation in the sleeping bag, and then it would make me even colder. But I could feel it, like my mustache was freezing, and then my nose. That would be interesting to see how people camp in the cold, if they wear a face covering or just do something to keep their whatever is exposed outside the sleeping bag warm, because it was cold, dude. It was a pretty cold, man. Alright, time to get up. Don't really want to get up, but it's time to get up.
Like, it's cold, but not.
Oh, I know, this morning was freezing. Yeah. Thank God. I was like, please don't be this cold when we ride.
I'm kind of glad we waited till 10.
I actually thought it was till 11. I was about to sleep in again. Yeah. I was like, let me check. I was like, oh, fuck, dude.
Need help?
No, I'm good. Appreciate it.
Fucking sweet, dude. That's up there, dude. No. I got a 13.5 on mine.
Yeah, it's good. It's cool, nice. But all the issues trying to troubleshoot
That's all the chain issue.
How that chain is.
But it's close now, and then today should really tell me if it's going to keep on walking.